So Zoe is asking me to just analyze this through my experience in the last 6 months. Okay, there is a situation. The other day, my son gets into the car and he says, "Oh, your car is really filthy." And immediately...
Because he played this role already.
Because my son is poking me. Are you a tyrant? Are you a tyrant? Are you a tyrant? Oh, you're not a tyrant.
Yeah, he's poking you because he's the tyrant.
Now I'm going to get into a tyrant. But he doesn't understand that even in a victim, I don't want to be in a victim, but I still snap into the victim. And thanks God to this work, I realize that I can't get into this because I won't stay here long. I'll stay here until I get really effed off. And then I get right back there and I show who's your daddy. You know? Not really. Not really. I'm a businessman. I've run a company with like many people, so like I know how to rule a roost here. So he says the car is dirty. Immediately I'm like, okay, I get one of the a gardener, which now Zoe is against all gardeners. But anyway, I get the gardener the time to clean the car and I vacuum the car. We polish that car for 2.5 hours. And 2 days later, Karos asked me to take him somewhere to his friend. And gets into the car and says, "Oh, there's a hair in my jersey." And immediately I'm like, but we washed the car. So immediately I go into this explanation role again. And the realization was that I spoke with Zoya and she says, at that point, you stop the car, you explain to Karos that, oh, the car's not good enough. And I'm sorry, I don't want to make you all so dirty and messy. I'm going to drive back and you can catch an Uber. I really, not apologize, but I don't want you to be all messy. So instead of being apologetic but we just cleaned the car 2 days ago, I vacuumed the whole thing, how can, because what a tyrant is trying to do, on the level of words it doesn't matter, but because what he's trying to do is trying to take my face and go into the ground. He's just using the car and that thing. So a victim will start explaining, I'm sorry I didn't clean it good enough, you know, that kind of thing. And a person from this point will stop the car and say, I really don't want you to be messed up by this thing. Please, let's drive him back, catch an Uber on you've got money, so use your own money, catch an Uber. So it might get him very upset, but the next day he'll never do that. He'll maybe once or twice or 3 times he'll still try and do that. Eventually he'll like, whoa, that's not working. Every time I can't get my dad into this position, my dad just stops and retracts. Every time I try and bully him, stops and retracts. And politely. Not like da-da-da-da-da. It's like, how dare you? Just freaking cleaned the car 2 days ago. What the hell? You so unappreciative little bastard.
То есть я и не унижающийся, и не унижающий.
So I'm not the one that's going under, and I'm not the one that's verbally abusive.
Потому что это было по одно и то же, на самом деле.
Because it would be the same thing. So do you understand? So I'll either tune him, the car, we just cleaned the car the other day, how dare you? Or, I'm sorry, we didn't clean the car good enough, because it's the same thing. I go from that center point and I say, whoa, okay, retract. I'll drive the car back very politely, get out of the car. He might still like, but you promised, how dare you? Karos have spoken. So very politely, very nicely, boom, catch an Uber.
Да, то есть это не action, это осознание.
So it's not the action here, it's really internal realization, and you cannot have it until you do hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of process work, collapsing all programs. Because
поймать свое намерение, что я сейчас делаю что-то, чтобы подавить, или чтобы унизиться, или ни то, ни другое, это длительный внутренний процесс, работа, которую я могу различать теперь.
Okay, so to catch yourself at a point in time where I'm either trying to be the one who's suppressing another, or the one who's being suppressed by another. To catch yourself on point of time, to understand that it's either of them that I don't want to do, neither of them that I want to do, not here nor there, but
free.
Just free of the
these programs.
From the programs. It's a lengthy process. It's a lengthy process. So yeah.
То есть, конечно, это длительный процесс, потому что поймать себя на полпути, когда вот здесь уже копится буря от подавленности и переходит в ярость, это очень тонкая грань, когда я только-только начинаю здесь чувствовать такое неприятное щекотание.
Okay, so it's a very subtle the border is very subtle between where I've been now in the mode of suppressed, the victim, dancing around another one, to that anger coming out. It's a very slight border. And it starts with a slight little tingling here of somewhat not very comfortable feeling.
Да, и становиться в этот момент и спросить, что происходит. Вот сейчас я ничего не буду делать, никуда, ни к каким действиям переходить, пока я не разберусь, что это, начало чего.
And to stop in that moment and to say, what is going on right now? I'm not going to carry on with any action until I figure out what is that slight tingling, uncomfortable feeling just lurking and starting to brew in the background? And that is the trick why we actually stopped, why I so strongly now stopped smoking marijuana, because I will never pick up on that little slight thing, and the next time I catch it is when I explode on my son or on Zoya, and I raise my voice, and boom, Zoya walks out for good. And and I don't want that. I really want to such beautiful relationship happening here. I've never had anything like this. We're gardening together, we're sculpting together, we're building together. It's like, gosh, I don't want to stuff this up, and this is why I chose, because on the level of programs, I know that if I smoke a joint, I feel so calm. But next morning, the anxiety will come 100 times fold, and then I will lash it out, because I've never picked up the slight uncomfortable feeling. The other day, I had some tobacco. We had a situation, and it was burning like hell. And I just didn't know what to do, because in my mind I've done nothing wrong. Zoya's not wanting to speak with me, so I go and I bought some rolling tobacco, and I smoked the whole day. I just smoked tobacco. The first tobacco, because I haven't smoked now for many months, took that out. And then I come next day to Zoya, she still doesn't want to talk to me, and we'll unpack that situation. And then I tell her that, the tobacco really helped me to get this thing out. She's like, yeah, so would try a little wank on top of that and half a glass of vodka. It will really get you right. No, really. For 2 hours. For 2 hours. That's the only problem. For 2 hours. The process that we're talking about at this point is, you collapse it and you are, I feel so good. I understand. It's the understanding that we want. I don't want a sorry from my father for what he's done. God forbid, I don't want him to go into this. I want an understanding. I want to have my father cry on my shoulders. This is what I want as a son. To really have a crying session together, and he tells me how difficult was his life at the time that he drank alcohol every single day of his life. What was he going on through his feeling emotionally? Where was he at that point in his life when he hit me in the bathroom when I ate a chili and I was crying because my mouth is burning, and he's like, shut up, just stop it, stop crying, God, don't, okay, boom, hit me, I want to cry, I'm so scared, my father just hit me. I'm getting goosebumps as I say it. I want to understand what was he feeling at that moment. And then we can both maybe cry, and boom, the situation can collapse. Until that time, I will carry it until the end of my days. I cannot, because like Zoya explains, you poke here, something pokes out here. You can never poke. You can never poke and smooth it out, buy some chocolates, buy some sweets.
То есть я не могу, если я был подавленным, минуту спустя я не могу не испытать ярости. Я ее испытаю обязательно.
If I was suppressed, a minute later I will feel aggression. I will feel it. There's no way I can escape feeling aggressive if I was suppressed by somebody.
И понимая, как работают эти механизмы, насколько мы можем теперь знать, насколько абсурдно, когда люди вот во всем мире пропагандируют полный интернет, как избавиться от агрессии. Да не надо от нее избавляться, надо осознать свою подавленность, и все.
So, when we realize how this whole thing works, now we start to look into the internet, and the whole internet is got a propaganda of how to release yourself from aggression. No, what we need to do is to understand our suppression, and aggression will disappear automatically. And this is the whole flip that people are feeling resistance towards. And we're having some rude comments on our YouTube channel because it's like people can't drop this.
Да, и люди не осознают промежуточных этапов между вот этим состоянием и вот этим. То есть это опять же на примере комментариев можно.
Stop. People don't understand all the in-between steps between that position and that position. So
что я чувствую здесь, целая лесенка нейронных цепочек.
What am I feeling here? What am I feeling there? What am I feeling there? It's a whole ladder of neural links. Of neural links. Your partner could possibly explain that even, but there's a whole ladder of different neural links, which are linked to our programs from the past at every step here.
Да. То есть это очень сложный такой взаимообратный процесс. Например, мы говорим о религии, о зависимости человека от религии.
Okay, so it's a very complex, interconnected process, which, like, so she gives an example of when we speak of religion.
Да, то есть как, например, видео, как формируется концепт Бога.
For example, a video of how a concept of God is formed.
Да, даже Роберт Сапольский сказал, что он не рискует записывать открыто ролики о формировании религиозности в психике человека, потому что он боится последствий.
Yeah, so Robert Sapolsky, write it down. A good, who's he?
Биология поведения человека, как он.
The biology of a human behavior. Yeah, biology behind the human behavior. Robert Sapolsky. So he said that he's himself scared to, when he explains how the religions are formed, he's scared to speak which religions even, because he says all religions, but he doesn't.
Потому что да, он рассказывает о том, как на этом примере, как формируется эволюция иерархии, как эволюция иерархии заставляет человека искать кого-то, перед кем преклоняться. И он знает, что для человека это будет полный крах внутри и какую-то агрессию вызовет.
So the whole hierarchy, how it is formed, but he's scared to speak about because for his own life, because it brings a full collapse for a human being, because his whole life is based on that.
Да, то есть что внутри человека происходит? Вся его вера, все его мировоззрение строится именно на том, что есть высшие и низшие.
So, a human's being entire belief system is based on that there is one above, and then there is those ones above him, and there's those below him.
Да, то есть, а поскольку это полярность, то он чувствует, когда он убежден, что он низший, то он таким образом возвышается внутри себя от самого этого осознания. Что над ним есть кто-то, кто его защищает, он от этого важнее. Он от этого причастен к другой группе, к какой-то религиозной группе, он от этого важнее. Есть тот, кто не причастен к этой группе, он от этого важнее. То есть чем я ниже, тем я на самом деле выше.
Okay, so the more I'm lower, the more I'm higher. So let's say the people that are part of this religious group, and they are
они хуже нас, те, кто не имеет отношения.
So there's part of those religious group, the Catholic, and there's a million Catholics, I think, different groups of Catholics. So those Catholics, let's say, that are in those groups are worse than us because we are the Protestants, whatever, you know, and we're this, and those are the worst. And those ones are, you know, who are, let's say, also Protestants, they are like us. And then there is others above, so
Ну, то есть, I'm better than you. Если я религиозный, я могу это себе сказать, да?
okay, if I'm a religious one, that I can say that I'm better than you.
Да.
You're either part of our clan or you're part of the worst clan.
То есть это означает, что если надо мной, вот она иерархия как формируется, если надо мной есть некий божок, бог,
If I have a God above me,
или физически существующий человек, но он возведен в образ Бога,
or a real human being who is put into a vision of God, like for example Yoganandi,
да, и тогда я могу, чувствуя, что я под ним, я тогда могу в отношении другого чувствовать себя лучше, чем тот, и здесь я в отношении него снисходящий этого низшего, а он подо мной.
Okay, so then if that guy is above me, then that group of people that are not part of this belief system are below me. And I'm above them.
Да, то есть я таким образом в середине иерархии думаю, для себя внутри определяю, что мне должно быть хорошо всегда, потому что подо мной есть кто-то, и я под кем-то.
Okay, so I'm then in the center of hierarchy. Okay, so everybody builds.
Можно так сказать, большинство во всяком случае.
Most people build themselves in the center of hierarchy. I've got somebody that's above me. My boss is above me at work, and at home my wife is underneath me.
Да, если нет уже жены, она убежала, например, то у меня есть кот.
And if my wife has ran away already from me, then I have a cat that I can kick.
Да, и тогда я над этим сильная, но надо мной есть другой сильный, я буду перед ним над этим. Да?
So now,
замкнутый круг.
in my previous relationship, my ex-wife was a tyrant. So I was there, and then I would bully Kairos because I had to. When Kairos left, I started hitting my dog, and then like how do I stop hitting the dog? And and you can't. And for as long as you have somebody that's pushing you from there, and I'm underneath, I have to lash out on anybody because of that. You can't poke here and not be poked out there. So you have to.
То есть давленная пружина не может не накапливать свой ядерный взрыв, она все равно взорвется.
Okay, so imagine a spring, a compressed spring. You cannot keep on compressing a spring. It will let go at some point. It will release its atomic, and Zoe really speaks of this as atomic energy, because when you have this anger to burning, and I know I've met with my neighbor and we've had a clash. We just looked at each other and there was an enormous, tremendous amount of this atomic energy. It went from 0 to my heart started racing, and it's like it's a mass amount of energy.
То есть мы должны понимать, как работает энергия, что если мы ее сдавливаем, мы не можем не взрываться. Это закон физики.
Yeah, so we need to understand how energy works. If we keep on suppressing our energy, it cannot but explode. And that's sometimes the whole. I know in meditation, with weed you suppress feelings, with alcohol you suppress feelings, and I know with,
То есть ты создаешь иллюзию, что, по крайней мере, якобы никто не пострадает. Если ты, будь здоров, вот так. То есть ты пытаешься...
So you create an illusion that nobody got hurt.
Да, то есть вот, допустим, я как шар. Накапливаю как шар с воздухом, да?
Okay, so I'm like a ball with air.
Вот здесь какой-то компрессор, который меня сдавливает. Да?
And there's some like a plate that's coming down, that's pushing down towards me.
Я могу себе сказать, что я не сделаю так, чтобы подавить под собой кого-то другого.
I may say that I'm not going
Раз на меня сверху давит, значит, я должен же на кого-то дальше, куда-то эта тяжесть передастся, да?
Okay, so if somebody is pushing on this ball of energy from above, this ball of energy is going to push down.
То есть я должен найти нижестоящего, либо я должен продырявить в себе какую-то дырку и сливать в бок эту подавленную энергию. То есть я просто
I
буду
either-
использовать коноплю, алкоголь, любой наркотик, но то есть все равно.
Okay, so I'm either gonna find something that I can push down from above, somebody underneath me, or I must make a hole in myself as a ball to release the pressure through weed, alcohol,
То есть да все что угодно. Ну, то есть,
movies, drugs,
да, любые
games, computer
зависимости.
games.
Ну, то есть, чтобы забыться, чтобы как-то сливать это напряжение, я все равно буду зависимым от чего-нибудь, от какого-то наркотика. Неизбежно это.
So in order for me to make a hole in myself and release this compressed energy, I will get to some form of addiction.
И это делает весь мир.
And entire world is doing it. So even Zoe herself, she was suppressed by her mom, and she would play violent computer games, shooting computer games, hours and hours on end. I myself will play Doom, like where you're shooting demons in hell. My son is playing shooting games.
Да, то есть и самое смешное, что мы думаем, что мы так можем сливать напряжение, и якобы тогда мы не будем опасными и взрывоопасными в отношении остальных людей, кто рядом с нами.
Okay, so
Другие
the funniest thing,
шарики.
the funniest thing is that we really believe that in this
Что это не
way,
жахнет по другим людям.
we really believe that if we can release this pressure from the side, then we are not going to be explosive for other little balls around us. We're not going to affect them.
Да, но это абсолютная иллюзия, самообман, потому что на самом деле это работает как раскачивающийся маятник, то есть полярность на самом деле будет увеличиваться только, потому что чем больше я сюда сливаю, тем больше я чувствую подавленность, тем больше я хочу давить всех остальных. Это замкнутый круг.
So it's an
То есть
illusion.
и это тогда возрастает многократно.
Okay, so it's an illusion that we can just release this excess pressure and then everything will be fine and we're not going to be exploding for other people. Because as we release the pressure, suddenly there's more suppression coming in from the top. Because now you're not you're playing the computer. I'm just trying to make my understanding, and Zoe can correct me. So let's say my boss gave me a bit of turf at work. And I didn't say, excuse me, sir, you cannot talk to me like this. I didn't not retaliate, but I not put him in place, but I really stood for my right that you cannot talk to me like that. I ate shit. I accepted it. I accepted and I ate some shit. At home, I'm freaking out. I'm playing computer games, releasing, having a little joint. And my boss a little, having a little joint, have a little glass of wine. Next day I come, the boss says, you've taken that spoon, here's a spade full of shit. Shower that. Now he's already, put some maybe horrible words in my direction. At home I come in, play computer games, shoot, little fucking, I'm pretending that this is my boss. I'm like, and in Japan they have, they dress boss pictures and they just throw darts.
Дротики, иголки они втыкают.
Needles that poke into the pictures of the boss, so they're releasing the energy like that. But what's happening is I am suppressing.
То есть чем больше я пытаюсь сюда сливать напряжение, то
the more I'm releasing the tension out of my side,
тем больше я чувствую себя жалким.
the more I'm
То есть
feeling.
я как бы сдуваюсь.
The more I'm feeling
Становлюсь более опустошенным.
жалким, humiliated,
Опустошенным.
empty.
Поэтому я принимаю как норму, как аксиому, что да, пусть меня давят, да, я тот, с кем так можно.
Then I accept it as the truth that okay, they can push me down. It's okay.
Да,
it's
я
okay.
же такой опустошенный, жалкий человек.
I'm an empty, hollow being, so they can push me down.
Поэтому да, я соглашаюсь с этим. Вы должны так со мной, да.
Yes, you can do this with me.
Поэтому я в следующий момент гораздо более агрессивен в отношении, если не него, потому что я его уже боюсь, что мне надо перед ним играть этого, то я пойду и везде остальных буду будоражить.
Okay, so I cannot go and retaliate back to my boss because I'm scared of him. I may lose my job and then my whole life collapses. But I will start to just bully everybody around me. I have to, because I'm feeling so horrible that bastard is pushing over me. I'm gonna get to somebody that
И
is
мне так
weaker
плохо от
than...
того, что я так унизился, что я пойду гораздо быстрее теперь бить остальных.
Yeah, I'm feeling so terrible that I'm suppressed by another. That
Это же как смерть, я почти умер.
yeah, I feeling like it almost feels like death. Because you really feel so horrible that this person is doing such bad things with you, that much faster I'm gonna find somebody that I can bully down and hit my dog, hit my cat, explode at my child.
То есть круг замыкается. Я все более униженный, все более зависимый от наркотика и все более изливающий разными способами в прямую агрессию, завуалированную агрессию ты будешь делать, как я сказала, ну то есть с улыбкой или без, но я буду давить.
Okay, so it's a vicious loop circle. It's a vicious circle because the more my boss is suppressing me, the more I'm smoking, drinking, playing computer shooting games, but it's not going away because I'm feeling worse and worse. And then
еще быстрее теперь агрессия формируется.
And then my aggression forms much faster. I lash out on this one. I lash out on this one.
Faster. То есть вот как прогрессирует, когда мы говорим, как человек так быстро деградирует. Потому что это, ну, как физический закон.
Okay, so then we start to ask a question. How does a human being degrade so fast? It's the universal law. It's the law of our existence. Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Мэнни, да?
For example, you don't feel like you have a tyrant in your life, but you have a program. Can that be a substitute for a tyrant, an actual tyrant that's alive? And so you have this program. Can that poke at you and then you drop?
Okay, so
Я не поняла.
Если нету физического тирана в жизни, может быть какая-то фигурировать в мире, которая может играть роль тирана. Это то, что ты говорил.
Роль тирана, старшего бога, как бы мы это ни называли, всегда кто-то играет такую роль в нашем сознании.
Okay, there's always somebody that's playing that role in our mind.
Да.
In our mind. So it doesn't need to be. Yeah. So for me, it was the bank. Who nearly put my house on auction twice.
My system want to broke me, да?
The Illuminati, the government, the system. Of course, yeah, they're definitely a tyrant, and then we can unite.
Какое-то зло, которое идет сверху.
Some form of evil that comes from above, most definitely.
То есть это не обязательно реальный образ, совершенно.
Yeah.
И подавленный человек с одинаковой яростью ненавидит того, кто якобы над ним стоит, и одинаково желает его иметь над собой, потому что он боится свободы, он не знает свободы.
Okay, so a human being does not know freedom, generally speaking. So as much as he is scared of, let's say, government who are bullying him and many other people, he is at the same time needing.
Они сами затребуют, чтобы кто-то над ними стоял. Общество будет орать, дайте нам богов.
They will demand, give us that tyrant. In Hitler Germany, they were screaming they want him there. They want him there. Stalin, they wanted him there. They placed him there, they chose him. The level of consciousness of people
manifested
Stalin in power. Manifested it.
Да, потому что общество хочет этого.
The society wanted him.
Если общество этого не хочет, как может быть один человек, который идет и убивает миллионы?
Yeah, if the society didn't want him there, how can there be one person that stood above and killed millions?
Ну, то есть люди просят и кричат в истерике, что дайте нам родителя, вот такого больного, уродливого родителя, который будет нам говорить каждый шаг, что
So
делать.
the society
И мы будем думать, что мы защищены.
and the society is screaming with the foaming mouth, give us that parent, give us the sick parent that can tell us how to live and tell us how to be. They really, really want him there.
То есть люди хотят свободы, но боятся ее еще больше, чем хотят.
People want freedom, but they are just as afraid of freedom as they want it. Question.
So you have the tyrant, and they're getting at you. You get your release through smoking or drinking, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a positive release? Like instead of smoking or drinking, maybe you exercise, maybe you run.
Mm-hmm. Good question. Поняла, да? То есть он, like Randy is moving 10 miles on his days off, 16 kilometers he walks.
Да, я поняла. Это может
Is
быть...
it a good release? Is it a good...
Это может быть одинаково, просто другим способом сливать энергию.
It's
Просто более как бы красивым способом сливать энергию.
It's a prettier way to release energy.
Просто сам процесс того, что здесь есть ощущение, что есть некое подавление, и нужно кого-то подавлять, или просто внутри это ощущать, что якобы надо мной кто-то что-то давлеет, и мне нужно что-то делать, чтобы оправдать свое существование, это останется в голове, и это не решено, и это ничего не изменит.
Okay, so
Многовато, да, прости.
first one, you either have somebody that's pushing you from above you, and you feel like you need to suppress another.
Да, то есть причина-то не решена, причина осталась.
The cause, right there, the cause is not unresolved. You haven't resolved the cause. You have this thing pushing above you. You're either pushing somebody underneath you, or you feel like you need to release the energy through either smoking weed or going for frantic 16-mile hikes every day.
То есть вот, Алеша, твой папа, да, он поменял алкоголь на каждодневное плавание.
My dad changed alcohol to swimming every day. He swims 3 kilometers
Да,
every
он
day.
сливает энергию, но рак-то никуда не ушел.
But he's releasing the energy, yes. But his cancer has not gone away, and my brother is not speaking to him now, and now I'm not speaking to him. So he's lost his children, so it hasn't helped the situation.
То есть в конечном счете, если нет решения причины, а причина это глубокая длительная внутренняя работа вот с этим отслеживанием, как перескок как бы информации от одного нейрона происходит к другому, вот ловить эту точку. Настолько нужно быть внимательным к себе, сконцентрированным внутри. И других способов нет перешить нервную систему.
Okay, so we're going to use a new word, restitch a nervous system. So write it down. It's rewire, restitch a nervous system. So it's stitched in incorrectly in your brain. We're talking about restitching it or rewiring the nervous system. There are no ways to restitch a nervous system unless we resolve the cause. And the cause is a very complex.
Вот этот комплекс.
It's very complex. Many things that make up the cause. Проясни про вот этот, про причину.
Ну, причина – это убежденность, что я должен быть подавленным, чтобы получить таким образом якобы защиту.
Okay, the cause is that I need to be suppressed in order to get the protection from above.
То есть я...
Is that one cause?
Да, она одна. Ее можно сказать, что одна. Программы об этой причине корневой звучат по-разному в голове. Много-много.
We want you to underline, this is the root cause of everything.
Конечно, любого программирования. Это всегда центр.
Many programs, many programs. But if we go for the root and we just hit it, boom, bullseye, it's I need to be suppressed in order to be protected.
Да.
Give us another example of this.
Это, ну как, во всем, любой пример. Я, например, строю любые отношения, например, мой любимый мужчина, вот я думаю, что вот он мой любимый, и я моментально, думая, чтобы он был любимым, оставался любимым, и я была его любимой, я должна выполнять вот такую роль, что-то делать для него, чтобы заслужить его любовь.
So first, there's any example in life, but here's one example. Here is a man or woman that I love, and I need to do everything for her in order for her to keep her in my life. I need to do this all the time. I need to.
Да, то есть я его таким образом удерживаю, думаю, что удерживаю, будучи подобострастной, угодливой очень.
Yeah, in this way that I keep her there by me being the underdog, the pleasing one. I'm the pleaser, yeah? Always, how can I help? How may I be of service?
Да, я такая услужливая, ты что-нибудь сейчас хочешь?
Would you like something?
И я этим просчитываю, что, наверное, я таким образом получу гарантию, что он будет рядом со мной, и я буду защищена.
Okay, so in that way, I already calculate by doing this action that through this action, I'm going to keep that person there, and I will be protected by that person, so I won't be alone.
Конечно, потому что, то есть я боюсь одиночества, поэтому я не чувства к нему выражаю, а выражаю свой страх одиночества и незащищенности.
So I am scared, I'm very deeply scared to be alone, and through this action I'm not trying to
Не просто обмениваться чувственностью.
I'm not trying to just exchange feelings, just exchange our feelings.
Ведь это и есть в этой чувственности, в этой циркуляции чувственности и есть любовь, если называть пафосные понятия.
If we just use the love as its at the core of the true love, if we just call it love, it's the exchange of these feelings and emotions of deep
здесь
exchange.
Я из страха делаю что-то, чтобы тебя держать на цепи.
But here in this situation, what I'm doing is from my fear of aloneness and not being protected by this loved one of mine, I'm trying to keep you on the chain.
То есть я
You will always be near me. You'll always be near me because I'm serving you.
Because I'm afraid to be alone.
Because I'm afraid to be alone. You'll always be near me because I'm afraid to be alone, and that's why I'll lick your ass, do whatever you want me to do.
Таким образом, я не в отношениях, а не в чувственности, в циркуляции чувств, а в страхе.
Therefore, instead of being in the circulation of feelings, I'm not there. I'm in fear. I'm doing this action from fear. And I know from myself, Zoya says, oh, it would be so nice to have this done at the house. I stop what I'm doing and immediately start doing it. The other day, a lamp in your room. 3 days ago, the thing that you screw in the lamp is broken, the thread is broken. And she just says, oh, would it be nice for Randy to have a working lamp? I stop my house model and I start doing this lamp immediately. Halfway, for the first time in my life, I caught myself. What am I doing? I wasn't doing that. And Zoe didn't expect me to do that. She just mentioned that it would be nice to have a lamp. But God forbid do I need to drop what I'm doing. Because as I'm doing it in my old self, if I carried on fixing the lamp, I would give her the lamp. Here, loved one, I fixed the lamp. Because she could say, well done, boy. Thanks for doing it so quickly. That's what my old program said. But I'm immediately like getting so pissed off. Every time you freaking speak up that I need to do something, I stop doing what I love and I start licking ass to do what, and then I start building resentment. I start moving from...
То есть тогда в следующий момент он будет на меня зол и скажет там на кухне, почему до сих пор нет обеда? Ну, например.
Then the next time I'll be starting to get angry and I'll walk into the kitchen and say, why is the dinner not ready?
То есть найдет какую-то причину, любую, под рукой. Это повод, просто повод, чтобы только скомпенсировать подавленность.
I will find some reason to lash out this at her. It will be just a reason to compensate. It's another word we want you to write down. Compensate my suppression. So here I was doing what I love. She spoke out. I thought from the level of my programs that I need to fix the lamp immediately, because Zoya will then say, well done, my boy. And at the same time I stop.
Пятерка тебе, я снисхожу.
And where does that come from? A+ for you. A+ for you.
То есть насколько это глубоко, мы же в этом формировались.
Billy is fantastic. Billy gets an A+ today. Boys, clap for Billy. Everybody clap for Billy. Billy, I feel so good. They got the best mark. Everybody's like, freaking loser, man. Loser, we hate you. You're always an outstanding performer.
И мы формировались в системе оценок. Надо понимать, насколько это в нас глубоко и какая нам предстоит сложная работа.
We were formed in the system of marks and judgment. Let's call it judgment marks, judgment. We were formed in that system of constantly being marked. So we need to understand how deep and tremendously long the work we need to do.
Naсколько эта автоматическая система моментально угождать, а потом за это ненавидеть.
Of how automatically we immediately try and be the nice one, the do as you're told and be угождать.
Ну, подносить все вовремя, делать якобы вовремя.
Do everything on time. Do everything. What's the word for that? Do everything on time.
Prompt.
Hey?
Prompt.
Not on time, but just a whole.
Efficient.
Ну вот не разочаровать.
They must never feel bad. I must never do something that makes them feel bad for me. Or I must always be on time. I must always do things right. What is that whole complex called? But you know what we're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. We must always just do the right thing.
Good boy.
Yeah.
Ну, короче, это очень автоматические вещи, это не во времени растянуто, это мгновенно в нейронной системе передается. Надо сделать так, чтобы заслужить любовь якобы, и все.
Okay, so this thing is not stretched in time. It's an instant thing that happens on neuron level that you calculate within 1/10 of a second. I must, like Zoya speaks, it would be nice to fix the lamp. I stop what I'm doing and I start fixing the lamp. It immediately.
Да, и потом я не знаю, как простой человек, который не работает со своей психикой, я не знаю, почему я после этого злой.
And if I'm a simple human being who doesn't work with my psyche, who doesn't work with my programs, what we're doing, what we're explaining, you know, if I'm just a simple human being, I don't know why next day I'm pissed off. I just can't pick it up. I can't link it. I cannot link it to this situation yesterday. But I'm somehow angry at Zoya. Like, Zoya loves me. Zoya's done everything. She did say I'm a good boy. Oh, thanks for fixing the lamp. She didn't want me to fix the lamp now. But I did it because on my levels of programs, I must be a good boy. And I got that from her next day. Why is the dinner not ready? Adolsha, why are you raising your voice like that? Where did that come from? Well, that's where it came from. She doesn't know where it came from. Well, Zoya does. But, you know, a typical woman wouldn't know where that came from. A typical man wouldn't know where that came from. He just lashed out. Perfect example. The other day, 6 months ago, I'm making pancake and I'm saying, Dad, would you like a pancake? No, I don't! I'm standing there. Father, did you hear yourself? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I don't know why I spoke like that. I've got tears running. You just shouted at me. And I've got tears running from me. I'm like, I just offered a pancake. And this is a man that, positive. Stay positive, son. Everything is always good. Like a man, number one.
Да, это то же самое напряжение. То есть оно, Russian Strong, это та же самая агрессия, самонакачка, которая потом выливается вот в эти блины, да.
Okay, so the pendulum of Russian Strong, number one, is the same compression of energy that will eventually explode into this. No, don't! It's where it comes from. It's avoidance of pain, of constant avoidance of pain. Always everything is good, I feel great, and then you ask him, well, would you like a pancake? It's an explosion.
То есть насколько сложно обыватель, который не работает с такими тончайшими моментами, он не может увидеть эти этапы состояний. То есть мы начали, помните, с комментариев, мы сейчас вернемся к этой теме.
Okay, so a simple human being, what I mean by simple human being, people that don't work with, there's something that got you here today. So people that, the rest of the world, so simple, we don't mean a poor man or a rich man, we just mean somebody that is not aware of this, okay? So a simple human being that hasn't worked with their psyche or any programs will not pick up on changes in the steps, any of these
Да,
steps.
эти промежуточные этапы. Поэтому, когда мы начали говорить про комментарии насчет концепта Бога, вот это видео, да?
Okay, when we spoke of the comment about how concept of God is formed.
Да, вот мы ту тему пропустили, да, как мы подошли к людям, когда реакции агрессивные, и мы тоже очень осторожно этой темы касались, и привели пример, что и Роберт Сапольский объяснял, почему он не касается впрямую этих тем.
So we were very careful how we presented this topic. As we said, Robert Sapolsky was also careful why he doesn't touch on this. He touches, but he doesn't explain which religion is formed like that. So those guys can't arrive at his house because he got really threatening letters arriving at his mailbox.
Да,
not email, his mailbox of his house.
Потому что дело не в богах, не в концептах, а именно в том, что мы через это тыкаем в самую точку человека, вот эту точку уязвимости, где он ненавидит тот факт, что он подавленный, и вместе с тем жаждет его всем сердцем, чтобы над ним был кто-то.
Okay, so
и мы в этот конфликт внедряемся.
Okay, so what we're doing when we release that video, we're not affecting the concept of God.
Да, дело не в богах.
It's nothing to do with gods or this whole thing. What we actually did is reach that.
Да, самый глубокий внутренний конфликт это.
We reached the most difficult, deepest conflict point within,
который человек очень боится смотреть.
Which the human being is very scared to look at, because at the same time that he hates that he's suppressed by this higher figure, he's really dependent in this higher figure.
Да, и он не знает, что с этим делать. Он хочет высвободиться из-под давления и боится высвободиться из-под давления.
So he doesn't know what to do. He wants to free himself from the suppression of the above God figure, and he wants to free himself, and at the same time
он боится уйти от того, кто подавляет, потому что ему кажется, что он защищен.
So let me. So at the same time, he is scared to release.
Сохранить подавляющего над собой.
Yeah. So he wants to keep the one above him because he feels that he is protected, and at the same time.
И вместе с тем он хочет его свергнуть.
He wants to just overtake him and move him out of that position. So at once he wants to move him out of that position, and at the same time he's scared to move him out of that position because he needs him as a protection.
Да, то есть он.
And that comes from childhood.
Конечно, все это формирование, вся система, как среда, в которой он формировался, сформировала его всю нервную систему вокруг этого.
Okay, so there is a perfect there's a perfect little exercise that Zoya gave me yesterday to do. So I'm trying to get out of this thing of why am I jumping up and down around my son, okay, in this suppression mode, okay.
Мы опять к комментариям потеряли мысли. Запомни, ладно?
Yeah. Извини. So she says, okay, so what can you be like that your son will leave you? What are you scared of? And I'm saying, well, aggressive, the suppressed one, the the lying one, the one that lies. So I listed a whole bunch of qualities that I'm afraid that if I have these qualities, my son will go away. So she says, okay, so pick up the highest one. So I'm saying, well, it's this thing that I really want to work on. So she says, okay, where did you get the benefits? Why do you believe that you need to stay in this position? And what benefits do you get? And I started thinking, I'm like, oh gosh, at kindergarten, if I was quiet little boy, they said, well done, they didn't punish me. my parents, if I was a quiet little boy and brought good marks, my dad gave me money for good marks. My mom said, well done, she gave me a hug for good marks. My grandmother brought me a Kinder eggs if I was a quiet little boy with good marks. My parents' friends brought me gifts if I was a quiet little boy with good marks. And I'm like, gosh, my dad gave me money for massaging him at the age of 13, 14, if I was a quiet little boy, and gave him a massage when he wanted. I might not have felt that I wanted to give him a massage because yesterday he might have screamed at my mother. So I had a bit of anger towards him, but because he paid me money, I put that anger aside. Yes, Dad, I'll give you a massage. And I massaged him for money. Mm-hmm. So now I don't have a father, and this is how this whole thing was formed. So basically, this is the little exercise I was doing just to unpack where does this feeling of being a good boy comes from. It's tremendously how I was formed. As I was just giving you a few examples, and I've just started digging it. What comment do you want to go back to? Back to the video, how concept of God is formed, a comment. What comment?
То есть то, что люди, ну, не
So we're going
конкретно
back to
комментарии.
where that weakest, deepest,
Да, это важно.
soft spot that made people angry when we spoke of how concept of God. We're going back to just what we spoke of now.
Потому что это действительно очень важные точки. То есть мы испытываем ужас, теряя над собой кого-то, то есть мы взрыхляем именно такую тему, когда люди думают, мы сейчас из-за вот этих людей теряем защищенность.
Okay, so because of Zoya and Alosha and their video, we are now, because of these people, we're losing a feeling of protection from this God-like figure above us.
То есть, если они у нас развенчивают на кусочки образ, из которого, на котором держится наша иллюзия защищенности.
So if these people are part by part, bolt by bolt, nut by nut, take apart this concept of
нашей иллюзии защищенности,
of our illusion of protection.
Мы в этот момент, с одной стороны, хотим высвободиться из этого гнета.
At one end of the scale, we want to release ourselves from this high figure standing above us.
И вместе с тем мы сразу же испытываем ужас. А как мы будем? Мы же по-другому не жили.
And then at the same time, we're experiencing a nightmare of how we're going to live. We never lived any other way.
Да. И поэтому возникает внутри вот это брожение, состояние неизвестности. Но как жить? И так плохо, и так плохо.
So then you have this extreme horrible feeling brewing up inside, because how we need to live like that with that guy above us is terrible, and without that guy who's going to protect us is going to be terrible because we don't know how to live any other way. So this way is terrible and this way is terrible. Now it's like bad comments.
Да, и поэтому я как комментатор испытываю дикую вначале испуг и затем агрессию с перепуга.
And then as a commentator, at the beginning I experience fear, like just fear. Oh my God, just a shock. How I'm gonna live, you know? And straight after that follows the aggression.
Вот. То есть это именно вот это состояние подавленности, которое разрывается пружиной.
Okay, so it's that feeling of suppression, spring that pops up afterward.
То есть мы не понимаем, как формируется агрессия, если мы это не изучаем. А она вот целый круг, эволюцию сложнейшую прошла за долю секунды в человеке, который испугался потерять защищенность.
So this is об агрессии что ты сказала?
Что я как обычный человек, который комментирует, не осознаю, какой сложный у меня процесс произошел внутри за долю секунды.
So as a simple human being,
как сформировалась агрессия?
I don't understand what difficult path has just happened in my whole being of why the aggression formed.
То есть как я буду работать с агрессией, как я от этого освобожусь, как об этом вообще можно говорить, если я не знаю, как это сформировалось? Это же момент всего-навсего.
How can we talk about releasing our aggression if we do not know how it formed? and it formed in a split second.
Да, то есть как я могу это рассоздать, если я не знаю, как это создается во мне?
How can I take it apart by part to understand how it works? To understand how it works, if I can't understand how it formed in the first place. How
То есть, если я не
can I
вижу путь,
entangle it and separate it and understand and observe it and really unpack it and see it in its fullness if I don't know how it formed?
то есть если я не знаю, как вошел в этот подвал, как я узнаю, как выйти из него?
If there is a hole into the underground labyrinth, if I don't know how to enter into this hole, I will never be able to get out of that hole.
То есть я буду думать, что просто подвал это и есть вся моя жизнь, и я в нем замурован.
If I'm in this underground cave, then I will believe that this entire dark
Вся моя
underground.
жизнь подвал, да?
Then I will believe that this underground cave is my entire life, and
Потому что я не могу его со стороны увидеть.
because I cannot see it from the side, so I will believe that this dark cave is my entire life. There is nothing else to my life but this dark cave. If I don't see a way how I actually got into it. Yeah? It's a good analogy.
Да. Ну мы на этом, наверное, резюмируем немножко.
Да,
Надо
нужно
чайку попить, да?
Yeah, we're gonna have some tea,
Да,
just have
и
a little,
поговорим еще за
and then
столом.
we'll chat around the table.